Then when we went to him next morning and seeing him happy and smiling asked him why he was so sad the last night and why he was happy that morning, he said, last night after the distribution of the property of the Muslims only 4 dinars remained with me, so I was perturbed, but I have now given them to the rightful person. Therefore, I am now happy. It is an established fact that Abu Dhar had seen the Holy Prophet and his al-Bayt from very close quarters and remained in very intimate company with them. He had seen very carefully every aspect of their life and had learnt much from it. He has seen with his own eyes not once but several times that the Holy Prophet was lying hungry in the masjid and his children also were hungry at home. 30. Abu Dhar had also seen Ali ibn Abi Talib working on wages wearing coarse clothes. He had seen patches of date leaves in the mantle of the daughter of the Prophet. He had also heard Ali, exhorting to his African maid servant Fizza, "O Fizza, we, the al-Bayt, have not been created for the world or worldly gains. Instead, we have been created for the worship of Allah and the propagation of Allah's message, Islam. It is our duty to boost up the morality of man, to kindle the light of the unity of Allah in the hearts of the people and to provide the ways and means for their well-being." Abu Dhar had also seen that Ali ate the dried barley bread and kept the bag of his barley flour sealed so that nobody could mix ghee with it. 31. He had also seen that Ali used to take bags of flour on his back to the houses of the poor widows and orphans. He had also seen Ali saying to the world, "O world, go and deceive others. I have divorced you." He had also witnessed with his eyes that the progeny of Muhammad used to take food along with their servants at the same dining cloth. He remembered well that once when 4 dirhams were left over after the Prophet had distributed the money that was with him and this amount could not reach the deserving person, he felt very much grieved. He still recollected these words of the Prophet's addressed to him, "O Abu Dhar, even if I have gold equal to the Mount Uhud, I do not like the least of it to be left over with me." Under these circumstances, how could it be possible for Abu Dhar to observe silence when Islam was metamorphosed and the teachings of the guardians of Islam were being neglected? As soon as the Holy Prophet died, everything was changed. Injustice and tyranny were rampant, forced allegiance was demanded, the house of the al-Bayt burnt, and the door was felled upon Fatima, the daughter of the Holy Prophet. 32. Ali was tied by the neck with a rope and the great companions lived in the seclusion of their homes. Being forced by circumstances, Abu Dhar observed patience for some time. At last, he left Medina for Syria and settled there. After some time, when he came back to Medina, he saw that worldliness of the rulers was at its height. Royal pomp and show had taken the place of the moderate life observed by the Holy Prophet. Favoritism and nepotism were the order of the day, and honesty and piety were the things of the past. The wealth of the public treasury was being squandered away. The wealth of Muslims was being used for personal needs. Every relative and well-wisher of the caliph had become a millionaire. Capitalism had expanded. There was an abundance of wealth. Nobody bothered about zakat. Nobody thought of helping the poor. Nobody cared for orphans and widows. Seeing innumerable things of this kind, Abu Dhar tried to admonish the Caliph Uthman for the protection of Islamic Ummah and Islamic State, and advised him as much as he could, but the Caliph did not pay heed to him. At last, in view of the promise that he had given to the Holy Prophet and with that intensity of faith that Allah had preserved in his heart, he came out on the scene and started publicizing the shortcomings of Uthman. In this connection, he also censured hoarding of wealth and capitalism and initiated his speech with those Quranic verses which criticize the hoarding of wealth. As Abu Dhar could not tolerate that the wealth of the public property be spent only upon the caliph's relatives, and the orphans and widows die of starvation, he accelerated his preaching, and consequently, he had to go from place to place. He was exiled again and again. Sometimes he was banished from Medina and sent to Syria, and sometimes he was forced to lead his life in a deserted place like Rabza. Historians say that Abu Dhar delivered his speeches on specific topics, in the masjid, outside the masjid, in the bazaars, on the thoroughfares, on the streets, and at every place where he got an opportunity to do so. He did not fear his assassination because the Prophet of Allah had told him that nobody would be able to kill him or turn him from his faith, nor did he fear reproaches because he had sworn allegiance to the Holy Prophet on this point. He was dead sure that whatever he did was in conformity with the wish of Allah and his Prophet. That is why he was busy all the time in discharging his duty with great courage and fervor. On one side Abu Dharr's preaching grew intensive and on the other side Uthman was out of his beat. With his self-indicating conscience in the mirror of his character, he consulted Marwan to know by which device Abu Dharr was to be silenced and how his criticism of Uthman's character and his opposition to the hoarding of wealth could be stopped. Marwan said, "There is only one device to achieve that end, that is, some money should be sent to Abu Dharr. He may perhaps accept it and keep quiet." Uthman heard this reply of Marwan and became silent. The reason of his silence was that he knew Abu Dharr's nature. He knew very well that Abu Dharr had no greed for money. But Marwan insisted and got the permission. He called 2 men, gave them a purse of 200 dinars and said, "Take it to Abu Dharr at night and tell him that Uthman had wished him well and asked him to take the purse and spend it on his needs." Those men came to Abu Dharr at night with the purse. He was, at that time, busy offering prayer in the masjid. Perhaps he was staying in the masjid of the Prophet at that time because Uthman had forcibly called him from Syria while his family was still there. Looking at the visitors, Abu Dharr asked them who they were and why they had come. Presenting the purse to him, they said, "Caliph Uthman has sent you his regards and has asked you to accept these 200 dinars for your expenses." 33. Abu Dharr said, "Has he given an equal amount to any other Muslim as well?" They replied, "No, to no one else. This is the Caliph's generosity towards you alone. Please accept it." Abu Dharr said, "I am also one of the Muslims. When the Caliph has not given anything to any other Muslim, I alone cannot accept it. I do not need it when the other poor Muslims have been ignored. Go, take it back and tell him that only a little wheat is enough for me. I am earning my livelihood. What should I do with these dinars?" 34. Marwan had formed an utterly wrong opinion of Abu Dharr. He was under the impression that just as other seekers of the world did not care for faith and belief for the sake of wealth, Abu Dharr would also do the same. He did not know that Abu Dharr was on a much higher level as compared to the seekers of the world. Anyway, those who had brought the purse of gold to Abu Dharr went back to Uthman and told him what Abu Dharr had said. Uthman said to Marwan, "I already knew that Abu Dharr would not accept the money." Abu Dharr remained busy preaching as usual. Whatever he said was not in opposition to any particular person. Rather, he wanted the people not to forget Allah on account of hoarding of money but to strengthen the principles of Islam by sympathizing with the poor. Abu Dharr could not tolerate the wealth of the public treasury being spent on the undeserving persons freely while the needy starved. He could not even tolerate the tearing and burning of the Quran. He could not help criticizing those guilty of such heinous crimes. He had the commands of Allah and his Prophet before him. He had the principles of Islam in view. He wanted the Muslim rulers to tread the path of Islam. In short, on one side Abu Dharr was busy discharging his duty of preaching, and on the other side, Uthman was anxious how to gag him. To achieve this end, he tried to devise every kind of plan but could not succeed. At last, he ordered through a general proclamation, nobody should sit with Abu Dharr, nor talk to him. 35. Uthman. No. Abu Dharr. O Uthman, you stop me from going to the house of Allah. What does it matter to you if I go there and worship Allah till death? Uthman. No, by Allah, never. Abu Dharr. Then you should tell me where I should move away. Should I go out to the forest? Uthman. No. Abu Dharr. Then should I go back to my pre-Islamic days and take my residence in Najd? After all, tell me some place where I should go to. Uthman. O Abu Dharr, you should tell me which place you like most. Abu Dharr. Medina, or Mecca, or according to Jahiz Jerusalem. Uthman. You cannot live here at any cost. Now you should tell me the place you dislike most. Abu Dharr. Rabza. Uthman. Well, I order you to leave for Rabza. Hearing this, Abu Dharr said, Allah is great. The Holy Prophet had truly said that all this was to happen. Uthman. What had the Prophet said? Abu Dharr. He had said that I would be banished from Medina, would be stopped from going to Mecca, and would be forced to take my residence at the worst place Rabza where I would die and would be buried by a group of Iraqis going to Hijaz. Hearing this, Caliph Uthman, according to Othman Kufi, said, "Get up and go to Rabza. Stay there and do not go anywhere." According Dhamma Sakiba Volume 1, page 194, he was tortured with severe injury. Then the Caliph ordered Marwan to send him to Rabza on the bare back of a camel without a saddle, and to announce that nobody should go to see him off. 36. It cannot be denied that exile is tantamount to assassination. Those who are banished from their homelands prefer assassination to exile. Events speak for themselves that those who were turned out of their homelands always wept bitterly. Patriotism is a gift of nature. Traditions have called it a part of faith. Prophet Yusuf used to weep for his homeland sitting on the royal throne of Egypt. Not to speak of other prophets, let us think of the life events of Prophet Muhammad s. He was forced to migrate from Mecca to Medina. But whenever he remembered Mecca or saw some inhabitant of that city, his eyes were filled with tears. Alas! Abu Dhar was being driven out of his hometown. Imagine how he must have been feeling, especially when he was leaving the tomb of the Prophet s. But it could not be helped because he was forcibly sent into exile according to the established practice of Caliph Uthman, who expelled from his hometown every person with whom he got offended. According to the historian Tabari, it was the practice of Uthman that he separated from the people the person with whom he was displeased, and he used to say that no punishment was more severe than that. 37. Orders had been issued for the exile of Abu Dhar, and also to the effect that nobody was to accompany him or talk to him or see him off or visit him. Abdullah ibn Abbas says that when Abu Dhar was turned out of Medina to Rabza, it was announced under orders from Uthman that nobody was to talk to Abu Dhar or to come out in order to see him off. 38. This was the order that paralyzed the people and confined them to their houses. Nobody could have courage to come out of his house to see off an esteemed companion of the Holy Prophet s like Abu Dhar except Imam Ali, Hassan, Husayn, Aqil, Abdullah ibn Ja'far, Abdullah ibn Abbas and Miqdad ibn al-Aswad. Though the companions of the Holy Prophet s could not speak out their thoughts against Uthman's orders for Abu Dhar's exile, yet they became extremely perturbed. Not only those companions, who were present there, got perturbed, but also those who were not in Medina but who heard the news of his banishment became restless. For example, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, who was in Kufa, and likewise the people who belonged to his tribe, became extremely agitated. Allama Subayti says that the companions of the Prophet s expressed their indignation at the exile of Abu Dhar to Rabza. According to Mustadrak of Hakim, when Abu Darda heard the news of his banishment, he exclaimed, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun." 2. 156. We are for Allah and we will return to him. He repeated it 10 times. When Abdullah ibn Mas'ud heard this news in Kufa, he became restless and he addressed a gathering of people in the masjid of Kufa. "O people, have you heard this verse? Still, it is you who kill your own people." Turning some of them out of their homes, he objected to the caliph by reciting this verse. Walid, the governor of Kufa, reported this incident to Caliph Uthman. The caliph wrote him back to send Ibn Mas'ud to him. When Abdullah ibn Mas'ud reached Medina, Uthman was busy delivering his address. Seeing him, Uthman ordered his servant Aswad to beat him. He dragged him out of the masjid and there, throwing him down on the ground, he gave him a sound thrashing, confined him in his house and stopped his pension for life. 39. In short, on Uthman's order, Marwan brought a camel without a saddle and was about to send him off, when suddenly Ali, Hassan, Husayn, Aqil, Ammar, Abdullah ibn Ja'far, Miqdad ibn al-Aswad and Abdullah ibn Abbas came out and said, "O the accursed Marwan! Stop! Don't seat him on the camel yet. We have to say goodbye to him." Ali said, "O Abu Dhar! Don't worry. People got scared of you because of their grief."